It was a rough day for Alex Erickson on Sunday. I mean, first he fumbled the punt return. Then it came to there was a ball that was kicked to about the 12 or 13 yard line. And instead of going for the fair catch, he ran out of the way, let the Steelers go in there down the football inside the 5. And it has brought up the rumors and the swirling of the talk on the internet now, rightfully so. Should the Bengals be cutting Alex Erickson? And I'll be the first one to say it. I'll be completely frank about it. I mean, I think it might be for the majority to say it's fair that Bengals fans may have never really given this guy the, proper chance to be the Bengals kick returner, because I mean, for me at least personally, again, let's remember this guy was coming in taking Pac-Man Jones's kick returns, punt returns when he was coming in the games before. I always felt like every time Pac-Man came into the game, he had a chance to take it to the house. And for that reason, every time Erickson came, I was like, what are we doing this for? This isn't necessary. So for that reason, I do feel like it may have been a little bit of an unfair entryway for Erickson, but at the same time, I mean, some of the, discouragement here warranted, maybe not. I mean, at the end of the day, fact of the matter is, he's ranked 20th, 9th, and 12th in average yards per return on punts the past 3 years. This season, he currently sits at 7th in the league. 7th, which by the way, there's only 11 guys currently qualified that have over 10 punt returns. That assumes probably the average or you have to qualify to be for an average right now halfway through the season. So there's that, take that as you will. One of the bright things about Erickson, though, he has been a durable player. He hasn't missed a game his entire career for these Bengals. And he's also not seen a season, though, over 278 receiving yards. And he doesn't have 25 or more catches in a year since 2017. And here's my ultimate thought on this one. There's a lot of mixed opinions on the John Rosses of the world, the Auden Tates of the world of this Bengals team, and, which one should be playing, which one should be playing. And they both, I think, bring a different dynamic to this offense. John Ross has the ability to take the top off the defense like none other. Auden Tate's got the catch radius like none other. And when you consider, there's a lot of talk on which one should be active, which one shouldn't be active. Of course, that's assuming both are healthy. We know John Ross goes through injury after injury after injury. But the fact of the matter is, you could have them both. You could have that extra added dynamic of take the top off your defense and John Ross. You could have that Auden Tate on the roster at the same time. If a guy like Alex Erickson isn't on the roster, right? You cut one, you can call another one up. And I think that's what you look at from Alex Erickson here. I don't think he brings that extra dynamic. I mean, sure, if this is a Pac-Man Jones or a Devin Hester or, one of those guys that are really good at returning punts, top 3 in the league, a guy that feels like, and that's another thing about Erickson. I've never really felt, he's always done, it feels like he does the, the job of bringing the punt back and getting a solid position, doesn't make a lot of mistakes for the most part, but he's not one of those guys that ever gave you that feeling, okay, here comes a punt return, we got a chance to bring this one to the house. He's never really given that, spark, I don't think, from a punt return standpoint there. So he doesn't really have that added dynamic there. Again, he doesn't help in the offensive side of the ball. He's an average kick returner, and you look at John Ross, you look at Auden Tate and say, these guys have a specific ability to help this team. And I think when you, from a roster managing standpoint, you have to say that, hey, if these guys can help in this area, and this guy's replaceable, let Wilson return the punt, somebody else return a bunch. I'm sure there's another, other guys in there that can do what Erickson's doing from a punt return standpoint. Then you do it. You make room for a guy that you're not really using that much. You don't need that much to make room for somebody else that can help this team from an offensive standpoint. Even if you want to go from a defensive standpoint here, just feels like one of those areas where you could probably do a better job of managing the roster, in my opinion. We'll see though. That's our thoughts. Love to hear you guys. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.